Hello. Hello. You can start now. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone here at the Fort and online live stream by the Fort Facebook. It's my honor to be here as the moderators. My name is 𝐂𝐤𝐤𝐿. I am the Fort director. And yes, again, it's my honor to be here. And we would be a really good moment that we're going to watch the movies and then we're going to have the talk. So I don't want to take a lot of time, so then we have more time to watch the movie and we have more time for the discussions. At first, we will show the films called Echoes of Resilience. The second film in the series of Rohingya Sisterhood and Community Care. The film is about 22 minutes, and after the film, there will be after the film there will be 10-minute break, and then follow up with the talk. But before that, I would like to announce here that those who are here in person, if you haven't registered yet, we have the QR code for you to register. You can do it during the break. And the second one is for the security reasons. If anyone, because we have photographer to photograph of this event, if you feel uncomfortable that to be in the photo, you can use the green sticker to identify that you feel uncomfortable to be in the photo. Okay, let's start with the film now.
But after the Indonesia trip, we are back here again in Malaysia. Honestly, it's so exciting to see them again.
Coming back to Malaysia after almost 5 years of my resettlement, it has a lot of mixed emotions.
I was actually born in Malaysia, so coming back here actually to advocacy for the Rohingya, it's really great and a beautiful experience. I have known that Malaysia, because of how large the population of our community is, things are bound to go wrong and potentially issues will be exacerbated because of how big the population is.
My family and I, we faced an immense hardship in Malaysia. I didn't have any access to education when I was in Malaysia. I spent a lot of the time hiding in the jungles of Malaysia. So coming back to Malaysia, seeing that key issues I faced as a Rohingya 20 years ago is still ongoing.
So we came to Malaysia. We're hoping to actually find out where we could fill in the gap. We're trying to see which way we could help make it better or connect people better or try to fine-tune different approaches so that our community could be best uplifted. Currently, we're heading off to Penang from Kuala Lumpur. We're supposed to be there for about 3 days. We're going to first visit some local civil society organizations there, but also we're going to connect with the Rohingya community that is there, the various anti-trafficking groups that are working, those including the Rohingya that are working on this, 2 members of parliament to basically discuss, the legalization of work and access to public school. We're also hoping to visit the grave of the Rohingya trafficked victims. Penang is a very strategic place. Not only is it around almost like the front line of all these Rohingya response, because this is almost the first door into Malaysia, Indonesia. Rohingya are being trafficked into Malaysia in this way, through the Andaman Sea, through the Bay of Bengal. We want to be able to have direct interaction with people here, because yes, we can kind of imagine what things are going on the ground, where this is the front line, and where a lot of securitization response happen, where people maybe push back at sea, like what happened in Indonesia.
I was refugee once in here, and I was not allowed to go to school, and I only went to first grade, I think, or pre-K. So coming here, my goal will be to actually get the Rohingya kids to go to school in order for them to achieve education.
Meeting with my old friends, it is bringing me back a lot of memories of working together, our connection and friendship.
So I was displaced in Malaysia for 8 years and a half.
Returning to Malaysia is always a deeply emotional experience for me. On the other hand, it's also a place of immense pain and fear, where we were constantly hiding and living in the shadows. It's heartbreaking and frustrating that after all these years, so little has changed for refugees in Malaysia.
Lots of women from our network are actually raised here, worked here, grew up here, born here. And they've gone, out there in the world and have done a lot of positive and wonderful work for the betterment of our society. Now, those who are already in Malaysia, those who have not resettled, are also part and parcel of this economy. And so it would be in the best interests of Malaysians to actually acknowledge and legalize, work for Rohingya, and access to education and access to some level of healthcare by that extension, because then there is accountability that can come with it.
When I return, I'm reminded of the sacrifices my family made and the resilience we had to muster. For us, resilience meant adapting to survive. My mother drilled us on how to hide during police raids, making sure we knew our hiding spots by heart. It was a struggle, but it was also a lesson in strength and survival. When we finally resettled, that same resilience helped us build new lives, pursue education, and advocate for our community that are still trapped in similar situations.
These victims are from, the victims of human trafficking ring or human trafficking network from 2015 along Thai-Malaysia border. And there are about 120 plus people or 120 plus remains of, different Rohingya person. 22 women and the rest are men. I think about 6 to about 10 or 12 minors. All of them are now in this grave. The most important thing that I take away from being able to visit this memorial site is that when I took the sisters to visit, they had initially not really known that this was actually not named, that the plaque that was on top of their grave did not have names but numbers. And it's dehumanizing. Even in your death, you have no names. You have no one to acknowledge you. It is a sombering moment for me to remind me why I am working the way that I do and why our work is necessary.
Oh, what color you happen to be. As long as you're alive and breathing, this has got to be one of your needs. I'm talking about freedom.
It was a very emotional moment because, remembering those who struggled and passed away in the process. What's really hurt me the most was the people who has been killed, who has been tortured from the human trafficking, and their name was not even in the grave. And that's something that really, like, they're not even identified by their name. And like, imagine their family members still looking for them, still probably hoping for them to come soon, but they're unaware of it. So that's something that made me really heartbroken, seeing that and how our people have been suffering this whole time.
Everything that breathes, everything, every little thing that breathes, everything, everything, every little thing that breathes.
We just arrived last night to KL from Penang, and today our first sort of order of business is to come and visit refugee-led, community-led school that's run by our community members, the Rohingya community. And this school is called 𝐤𝐥𝐬𝐢𝐥𝐢 School, and basically they're housing about they're teaching about over 200 children. Various different age groups and primary school mostly. And this is the effort that was started by our Rohingya brothers and sisters. It's been ongoing for about 10 years. They fundraise or self-funded, fundraise among their own community members and those outside.
Another memorable moment was when we went to 𝐤𝐥𝐬𝐢𝐥𝐢 school and met the children. When we walked right in, they were so happy. They were smiling. And we also walked in the middle when they were singing. So, they were all loud. And I was like, wow, like, look at these happy, bright children. And in the beginning, it kind of, I felt awkward. I was like, oh, I'm older.
I was very, very teary all throughout. I think this reminds me so much of myself when I was younger. We were quite isolated when I was younger, so we weren't raised among other Rohingya. And I realized the struggle at that time was, how do I get myself out of this cycle of poverty and cycle of abuse that is systemic? I wouldn't be able to change it myself, but how do I get out of it? This all reminds me of myself, but also reminds me of those children in Arakan, in Rakhine State, where we've had some initiatives and some community-led, community-run school. And these children barely have consistent educational access. And they were exactly like this. They would just be very, very consistent, very dedicated. I think all of this just makes me feel quite emotional. About how much struggle they've had to go through and their parents would have to be put through in order for them to even get here, in order for them to be able to have access to some remnants of, access to education.
Seeing the kids here in the school just remind me like how grateful I am in life. My dad used to struggle where he had to provide our 4 siblings, and if one person go to school, the other person can't go to school because of the fees will be an issue, and everything. So my biggest struggle while I was here is that going to school, like I was the Rohingya kids, everybody can tell that. So getting bullied, go back to your country, you don't belong here, stuff like that. I will always come. The first person to come to the class will be me, because I just sit in the back of the class so nobody sees me. and I'll be the last person to leave the class. Like, I always try to avoid people not to see so they don't say anything to me. Because at that time, like, people just say stuff like, it would really hurt. And I would not go back crying at home telling my mom, I don't want to go to school, I don't want to do this, because I know my parents are struggling and they're trying all this for us to just get education.
So right now we're at the Saiful International School football field or soccer field. And there is a friendly football or soccer match between Somali and Rohingya teams. We're actually sponsoring part of this is to create or to actually start the work on social cohesion through something that everyone share in terms of love for sports.
Find somewhere you can come home to. Find someone that'll die for you. 'Cause it's all that really matters in the end. It's love, love, love. 'Cause it's all that really matters in the end.
It was really fun. We were so used to being the serious human rights meetings. But this time we were able to sort of let loose. We were screaming and cheering we were very biased. We wanted Rohingya team to win. Yasmin was screaming from the top of her lungs and we were just cracking up. It was a really nice time for us to bond, as sisters, as members, and also to connect with our communities. And the Somali team won. We were a little bit devastated, but it was fine. It was a friendly match, and it's part of our social cohesion. And they were very friendly. We gave out medals at the end to the winners and to the losers. But yeah, it was a really nice day, and it ended really, really beautifully with such a light ceiling.
The meeting with UNHCR rep of Malaysia, also his team was great. I appreciate that the UNHCR representative of Malaysia spent actually 2 hours and 45 minutes with us. The first an hour was meeting with the staff from the protection unit of UNHCR. We speak about the protection issues of Rohingyas in Malaysia, which is not very new. The old problem still getting worse. Protection issues in terms of challenges to going to work or getting access to education, getting access to medication, and also livelihood and many others. So the discussion, they listened to our discussion really with respect, and then we could also deliver the message from the community, because prior to that meeting, we had meeting with the Rohingya community themselves in Penang and Kuala Lumpur. The meeting that I enjoyed the most, I loved the most during these trips, were the meeting with my community, with our community.
The biggest highlight for me during this mission was meeting the women from our community. We had an informal gathering where we sat in a circle with plastic chairs and tables. We had some biryani. We chatted about who we are as a people. We shared some jokes. But they told us some horrendous stories about how they escaped to Malaysia. Some of them had to hide in the jungles and watch their family die and get shot. Some of them lost their children along the way, their way to Malaysia, because their children died from starvation and health issues. So, but besides
the horrifying experiences besides the sad stories, we also sang some songs, some Rohingya songs. We also danced, we laughed, and we were able to be together as one. And this was a very rare moment.
So what I realized, or the biggest thing that I realized for Rohingya refugees here in Malaysia, is that they want to integrate into Malaysian society. They want to work for their money. They want to help contribute to Malaysian society, but they're just not able to. They're blocked from that, you know? So they want to coexist together and they want to live peacefully with each other. And then from this experience as well, I also got some time to reflect on myself and how I can do better as an advocate for my people, and, you know, what things I should, you know, focus on, how my approach should be. And kind of, it gave me more sense of direction and a more sense of purpose for, you know, continuing this work.
I met with this Rohingya of women in KL. Like, we were speaking amongst all those Rohingya girls, said that my husband doesn't have a job. He was working and now he's not working for a few months, and because of that, my kids cannot go to school because I cannot pay for the fees. That's the only thing they ask. That's the only thing they are struggling with. Some of them been here like over 40 years, 30 plus years. So imagine being in a country for like that long, not having access to education, not having access to healthcare properly, and no protection. Anybody can just do something to them, hate them, kill them. There's no protection on them. But I feel like there's a long way to go. It's a long way from ahead of me that I have to learn and grow. How can I help the Rohingya community? Not just Rohingya, other refugees that need help. And how can I give back? Our people deserve peace, and you know, I like, they deserve the peace. But you know, I'm not giving up. I'm just gonna continue pushing myself, because I know I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for all the Rohingya children.
So light your matches, and I will rise from the ashes. From the ashes.
I have been so blessed to actually see my sisters from the network. We regroup again, reconnected again, and it was like no time has ever passed. It is bittersweet because we got to meet so many wonderful Rohingya women and wonderful Rohingya men who are working so hard. At the same time, it is so difficult for them, the effort's already been put into this, into the issue, into improving it. But things are not moving as fast as we wanted it to. It's bittersweet because we don't see the result right away. And, you know, as much as we're sad to leave the conditions the way it is, we're also happy that we got the opportunity to be here in the first place to eventually make a difference. And hopefully we will.
From the ashes.
A part of home I never got to see. Genocide, tyrants, thief. Knowing my heart will always ache for a touch of this faded memory, a little bit of connection, family. What price should I pay to get back the stolen history? pay to get back the stolen history.
Okay, thank you so much for watching the movie. And now we will have a 10-minute break to set the stage, and then we come back. But during the break, I would like to introduce, we have the Rohingya snack. I don't know, Aziza, you want to introduce the snack that you made from 4 a.m. this morning? Yes, yes.
These snacks over here we made in the morning, the Rohingya snacks. Two of them are vegan. One is a cabbage stir fry, and another one is a chickpea stir fry. And then we have some tuna patties, which is not vegan. Enjoy them. They're quite spicy. And please don't be shy because we have plenty to go around.
And I mean, this is free of charge, but if you want to donate, all the money will go to the camp directly, I mean, in Cox's Bazar, right? Okay, now a 10-minute break, and yes, enjoy your break time. It's already 10 minutes. Hi, guys. May I welcome the speakers? Hi, Anop. Hi, we are starting now because we also live streaming. May I invite the speaker, Anop, Nur Aziza, Nur Hayati Sultan. Yeah, it's you, right? Oh yeah, nice meeting you. First time you're here, right? Okay, come. And Nur Aziza, please come. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. You can have food with you, no worry. Yes, we can make it easy. So, okay, yes, now is, let's start it and welcome back to the discussions and the film screenings, Echoes of Resilience. And now we start the discussions and welcome for those who watch online and here at the fort, so you can enjoy moving around and take the snack, whatever you want. Anyway, okay. Yes, and I think it can be kind of like cozy and easy. So, but I think the talk will be significant too. Let's start, okay? I know that you still enjoy very delicious food. Anyway, okay, I think everyone watched the movie. This is the second movie from the whole journeys of the Rohingya sisterhood on the programs. This one is called Echoes of Resilience. It's the second episode from the first movie called Journey of Love. That one was made in Indonesia, and this one is in Malaysia. And the movie is done together by two organizations. May I say it right?
Rohingya Maya Minor Collaborative Network.
Okay, so RMCN and also Alternative ASEAN on Burma. Thank you so much for these two organizations to support and make this movie happen. Then I think it might be, as I introduced myself already, my name is Putani Kangkan. I am director of the fort. And I think it would be great for each of you to introduce yourself. That's okay.
Start on now.
She still have food.
Hi, my name's Anop. I came from Myanmar. I'm currently working for ASEAN Burma as a communication officer, and I produce video as well. Nice to meet you all.
Hi, my name is Nur Hayati Sultan. I'm based from Chicago, but born in Malaysia. And I'm a software engineer, and nice to meet you. I'm a director and the founder of a Rohingya Myanmar Collaborative Network.
Hi everyone, my name is Nur Aziza. I'm one of the directors of Rohingya Maya Minor Collaborative Network. So Maya Minor just means women in our language, and a lot of people find it difficult to pronounce it, so that's okay. I am based in Sydney, Australia, and working for community.
Okay, yeah, you can hold the microphone.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity that we are all together, because I heard that this is the premiere, the first showing is not on the YouTube yet. So yeah, I mean, everyone should be proud that to be the first group to watch this movie. And also on the panels, we have the panel who come from all over the world, but actually they come from the same origins, the same countries, but now they are in different places, but not their own original countries. And I think for the fort, we will also link to the first discussion and the first movie you can see at the fort Facebook. And we link the first discussion, where the first discussion you will see the Anop and Aziza were there in the discussions. And we had Jasmine on the first film and discussion, but she's here with us, but not on the stage. I know, like, you need your... I mean, she can come and share later on. I mean, but I mean, this is the time for her colleagues to come and share. And welcome. I heard that for Sultan. Can I just call the shorter name like Sultan or Hayat? Okay, Hayat. Okay, Hayat. I heard that it's your first time here, right, in Thailand. Wow, so proud, so good. Welcome to Thailand. Yeah, I think I'd like to start from the producers. So, yeah, how is different from the first film to this film? Anup, yeah, what do you think? Yeah.
All right. First of all, I would like to thank Yasmin and everyone in their groups for giving me this opportunity to make another video for them, and also Debbie as well. Yeah, this time around is quite different from the first one because we went to Malaysia not knowing what's gonna happen, so everything's kind of very spontaneous. We just have like interviews and everything's on the fly, so it was really kind of like, for me, like while editing the video, it was like really like hard for me to come up with a like compelling story, like putting it all together and stuff, you know. So yeah, I'm really excited to do this for everyone.
Okay, I learned that he is like quite shy to speak. I mean, from the first talk. So then, and I think that this is I wish you don't mind. Like I give the minorities as the only male in the panel to speak first for this time. And yes, I see that like seem to be, according to you, it seems to be like easier in terms of production. But I think it's quite hard in terms of the message.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. I don't know, but I mean, in Malaysia, so, I mean, you want to share first, and I would like to hear from both of you too, like, yes, from your experience for this second film. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can, yeah.
My experience?
Okay.
Can you repeat the question again?
Like, from I mean, your experience being in the film and like the being in Malaysia. Yeah, because I see that this film is different from the first one. This one is quite heavy in terms of like the trafficking, survivor, the victims, and yeah.
So for me, I was born in Malaysia, and I pretty much raised there until I was 11 and moved to Chicago. So for me, it was like first time going back to Malaysia again. And even though I have my grandmother, I didn't visit her, which she still complains about. But I went there because I know the struggles, because when I was there, I didn't have access to education, and my dad couldn't get a proper job. We didn't have health care. So going back there, I thought it might be slightly a little bit change after so long, but it's still the same thing. And it's like a harsh reality for all the Rohingya there. So when I went back there, I kind of felt very grateful every time. Even when I landed here to Thailand in the morning, I couldn't imagine my life being in Malaysia and not getting access to education. I wouldn't be here today, especially speaking with y'all. So for me, it was very emotional, to be honest. Like we visited kids in school, and I remember the time when I used to go to school, it was owned by a community, and sometimes the fees would be a problem. Sometimes like we wouldn't even get like a lot of lessons. It's only going to be like Arabic classes or like just learning basic alphabet. So not getting able to go to like higher education was a struggle. And some of the kids, I mean, most of the Rohingya kids still face issues. So I want to continue doing this work and spread more awareness about the Rohingya situations faced in ASEAN. So at least can change a bit of like difference, at least for the kids, they can able to go to school. Because when I visit the kids, I ask them, what's your dreams? They want to be a doctor, they want to be a teacher. So like, I never thought I would be moving out from Malaysia and I will be a software engineer. Today I am here because I got the access to education. And yeah, so it was very emotional.
Yeah, I think we can come back again on your experience because since you were there in Malaysia, so you have like experience living there. But I want to go to Aziza to hear your voice also to compare, like, because You had the trip in Indonesia and now Malaysia. So what do you feel?
Yeah, it was extremely different. I mean, Indonesia, there's only a couple of thousand Rohingya refugees, mainly living in refugee camps. When we were there last year in August, there was only about 3 spaces for Rohingya to stay in. And this year, the update is that there are 7 shelters that Rohingya are living in. So we're seeing an increased arrival of Rohingya from Bangladesh, from Arakan in Burma, because of the dire conditions in the region, which is why they're making the extremely, extremely dangerous journey towards Indonesia. In terms of Malaysia, I have a love-hate relationship for that country. The food just has to be so good. But I was displaced there for quite a long time, 8 years and a half, and the life there was extremely hard. I was there as a child. I didn't have access to education. I had to sort of fend for myself and my family to bring food to the table. So it was extremely difficult. So going back to Malaysia in KL, seeing my people there suffering the way I did, I felt quite helpless. I didn't know what I had to do. But then again, I think about how when my family and I were displaced in Sabah, we didn't have community around us. We didn't have any other Rohingya families to rely on, to talk to. But my community in KL, they have that, which I am extremely grateful for in other ways, because I know what it's like to be deprived of your own culture, of your own language, of your own people. It was only when I resettled to Australia, when I started cooking Rohingya food, when I started learning about who we are as a people, when I started learning to speak Rohingya language. You know, the girls, they make fun of me because my Rohingya is a little bit broken, but it's better now. So I guess the experiences of both Indonesia and Malaysia were extremely different. Malaysia was more personal. I was there not just as an activist, but as a person with lived experience that has been displaced in that region.
I think that's very, very strong. That like, if we look at the passage of life, like the journey of life, like from the beginnings and until now, like yes, I think we can share on the diaspora, like the feelings, and when you look back, because now you have different way of living, right? When you look back, I see for these 2 movies, scene that you have proposed, like some objective, the goals that you want to share, or the message that you want to send out to the world. For these 2 movies, like, what do you think? Like, what the strongest message that you want to send out to the world?
So in terms of the region, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, we've seen misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech spiralize in the region. And this is coming from Burma itself. The hate speech started in 1942, calling us too black, calling us thorns, replicating us to animals. So when violence do occur against Rohingya, it's very normalized. Thank you. Next time, please. So we're using these documentaries to shift the narratives of Rohingya, that we do want to contribute to where we are. We do want to contribute to Malaysia when given the resources, when given the infrastructure and policies that are actually going to favor us. Because right now in Malaysia, the policies are not favoring any Rohingya families. We're seeing cycles of violence occur. We're seeing cycles of poverty occur. A father might go to work in the morning, but a police officer will stop him. His license is taken away. Therefore, his children are going to eat once a day, not 3 times a day. One child is not going to go to school. The wife has to go and do illegal work on the streets of Bukit Bintang. So this cycle is ongoing. So we are hoping that these documentaries are going to shift people's thinking. You know, I walked in this morning, just now I spoke to someone in the audience, and she said, it's really nice to see a women-led Rohingya organization doing the work, because I've been working with Rohingya and many of the work is led by males. So we do have a lot of work to do, but we are quite optimistic.
Yeah.
My message will be also similar to that because mostly all Malaysians, like as being born in Malaysia, they think all Rohingya are just useless, they're uneducated. But the thing is that we just never got access to educations. So for me, I would still go to Malaysia and consider that like as I was part of it. I was born there. And my dad probably wouldn't even move out from Malaysia if we had educations, proper job, healthcare. So I feel like most of the people that are struggling there, all Malaysia people will just say that they're uneducated, they don't know how to do work, they're not very appreciative of the country we let them stay. They just want to take over it. That's not true. The thing is that they're trying every single day to live a life there. Every day, because I have seen my dad take care of my 5 siblings every single day. He would work. If he doesn't have work, he will do something else, dropping people, picking up, like stuff like that. That's how we basically lived. So I feel like a message will be, I would say the Rohingya will not keep coming from Burma. They will still keep living and people will still end up in an ASEAN country. So I feel like if they have access to education and healthcare and like a basic human right needs, and they will contribute to the society. That's all I'm trying to say. But right now they're trying to think that Rohingya is just like useless, they're unappreciated. They're not. They just don't have the access to it. So I think that message that I would like to send out.
I think it's linked to the title of this movie, right? It's the concept of the hate speech. You want to elaborate more, or I mean for you as the producers also, right? Yeah.
Yeah. For me, the key takeaway from these trips, I have the chance to see how my Rohingya sister used to live there before when they were young, and then the situation there is very dire, and it's not changing nowadays. Well, it's still the same. So I try to showcase that in the video, that people, especially Rohingya people who are now taking refugees in Malaysia, are suffering the same fate as they used to before, and we have to do something to change that. That's what I was actually trying to say in the video, and I hope you all can see that happening.
I think that's the great quote that you made, and it's kind of very solid, and actually it's the achievable if there's good political views from the ASEAN governments, ASEAN countries, like from Malaysia, and you also mentioned not only in Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, the same. And this is the will of the people involved. I mean, for me, I know Jasmine, I think almost 8-9 years, that the first time we met, and when she introduced herself, I want to do things for the Rohingya communities, and at that time, that's nothing. So, and today, there's these two and other so many things that the key thing is I'm always pronounce your organization wrong, RMCN, right? Yeah. RMCN, yes. I think this is for me, as the women perspective, I feel really, really, encouraging as the women roles. And I've been working on the Rohingya community in Thailand, and it's very rare for the Rohingya women in Thailand who are able to come to the front. So, and I could imagine have to been through the obstacles and everything. So I want to hear also in terms of and I watched the movie and I see that if the men produce the movie, it would come in different way, I'm for sure. This is really the girls' women perspective, and the make the story completely different when the man and the woman tell the story completely the same. So I completely different, I'm sure. So I would like to hear on the women-led perspective, the strength from, you probably mentioned a little bit from the first film, but yeah, I think it's still really good to hear more your struggle and how could you overcome your struggle, and how can you be here, right now, and able to send a message out as of today. Yeah.
So for me, why Women Lead came first, because when I moved to Chicago, after like a few years, there's a lot of Rohingya kids coming. And then that's when my dad and his friend there started Rohingya Culture Center. And it was all men, to be honest. And I was the only volunteer from high school. I have to, because my dad is a co-founder and have to, like, you know, he's like, you gotta help your community, you gotta do this. So I got that from my dad. So I was there, only girls and all men. And I would not see one single woman will come in. And even they do come in, because I worked in like after school program for the kids. So if the woman comes in, they will be shy to come in. So whenever there's guy, they will never come in. So when they're seeing me, they will come in and start talking to me. So after working there 6 years, that's when I kind of like want to change a bit. I want to work with the women more, because I feel like all the there's quite young girls that got married young, and then when they move to US, they start taking care of their kids, but they forgot about themselves. So I wanted to work on that, and I started like collecting all the number of them, and then reach out, make a group, and I start talking to them like, what you guys really need, education, do you guys want to take like a after school English ESL classes? So then after I would work with the kids, I will have the women come in to work for the classes, ESL classes. So that's when I really wanted to start more women lead stuff like that. But since there's a lot of men, often like the women keep coming there. They give complaints like, I have kids, I have to take care of the kids. It's like a struggle. So I try to make a way out of it, like at least have a tutor go to their house and teach them English. But I was still young that time. I didn't know what I was doing, but I tried a few of them. It didn't work out, because there was like more girls wanted to join, but I had less tutor. Then that's when I kind of like call it quit. I was like, I'll do something when the time comes right. And then this happened last year, and then it's all 4 of us, and it's really great, because like right now I have 5 sisters. So even coming to Thailand, they're like, go Noor, you got this. Like, it's like, you know, I get this power and support from my whole family. So I feel like they're really proud of me, in especially doing this Women Lead, especially my dad, because his dream was to do something about Rohingya cause. And he's like, there's not a lot of girls doing it, so you're doing it, it's great.
So incredible. I feel like I'm the host now. She's taken your job. You know, Rohingya women has always been the key to survival. We've faced 82 years of ongoing persecution, ongoing violence, completely brutalized from our land. There are more Rohingya outside of Burma, Myanmar than inside Burma, Myanmar. There's about 2.8 million Rohingya living in the world right now. Do you know how many % live in peace? Can someone take a guess? Just call out any number. Out of the 100%, how many % of Rohingya live in peace and freedom? Someone said 10. Any other guesses? 2? 0.5? 1%. And we are part of that 1% that live in freedom. 99% live in refugee camps, are detained, or living in hiding. So that's a really large number. And when I say that Rohingya women has always been the key to survival, I can use my own mom as an example. She had 5 children in Malaysia, and she's very strategic and very careful in the way she thinks, even though she was deprived of education in Arakan. She made friends with 5 different people. So when there are police raids, when people told her that there were police raids happening in the evening or next week, we would all have different hiding spots. So my hiding spot was in the jungle of Malaysia with an indigenous Filipino lady, and I would stay for months with her. My brother's hiding spot was in a farm with a kind Malaysian man. So she made friends very tactically to ensure that her children were kept safe. And this is just one story of many, many, many Rohingya mothers that have kept their children alive for a very long time.
Wow. That really strong. I think this is really like what you want to send out the message is the message, yeah, from the women and like half of the population actually. And yes, very encouraging and inspiration. Thank you so much. Also in Malaysia and also in Thailand and some part also in Indonesia and linked to the movie that we just watched. You visited the graveyard of like those who are victims of trafficking, and I remember it happened in 2015, and also it's linked Malaysia and Thailand, Mangkalian and the southern part of Thailand, and there's the time that we also in Thailand there's the big thing and the big issues happening in terms of like the trafficking and also when I work with the Rohingya community in Thailand, I heard some people saying that in each Rohingya community or in each Rohingya family inside Rakhine, there is no one family that everyone can be together. So it has to be at least like 1 or 2 people, either in the refugee camps, in Cox's Bazar, either coming to Thailand or to Malaysia, to Indonesia, either became the resettled to the third countries. So, and many of them becomes victim of trafficking. I mean, related to the movie, and I don't know, like, the futures. Do you see any future? Do you foresee any futures of the Rohingya communities inside and also diasporas in, yeah? You have any, like,
I mean, right now there is a civil war in Burma, and you know, as you know, Rohingya are in the mix of the Rakhine army and the junta fighting, and both are conducting their killings and genocide. So in terms of Burma, it's been really stressful for us. We've had to respond to survivors crossing to the borders in the last few weeks. Our focus is not even on Bangladesh because we're a very small organization that just started. But we've had to manage to bring some funds together in the last couple of weeks to help our people that has fled the violence in Arakan. What we are seeing are women and children arriving without their husbands. A lot of them are reporting that their husbands has either been kidnapped or killed. A lot of the women don't have any contact to their husband, even if they have been kidnapped. They're coming injured, losing half of their face. Their children are hungry. So we've managed to raise about, Yasmin, correct me, 9,000, 10,000 Canadian dollars in the last few weeks through GoFundMe, charity events, begging friends to donate, just to bring some rice and some care to our people. And you know who are facing the brunt of this? The women and the children, which is why it's so important that we are a women-led organization and we have the lived experience. Our women can connect with us and share their stories with us.
Honestly, I don't know what the future looks like, but I feel like the people that who's in like right now, they're in Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, especially for women and children. If we can at least make a difference and give them access to education, healthcare, provide them that, because there was one incident where I met this lady in Malaysia. She's been there for 75 years and no healthcare. So just imagine that. And so I feel like, because people will not stop coming, they will still keep coming, they will risk their life because things are not safe in Burma. So I just pray that for however long I have to do this work, at least there's a bit of change, because like I said, when I went back to Malaysia after 15 years, I didn't see any difference. It's still the same reality that everybody's still living on. So, because I still have families there, there's still struggles the same. So I just want to make that, I want to do my, like, give my best from my side, and the rest is in.
I'm going to add one quick thing. I know you asked what future you see. Often people look at us and we do the work and they think, wow, like, do they really think that Rohingya are going to get somewhere? Because it's often bad news after bad news after bad news. But it's people like Debbie at the back that believe in us and has supported us along this journey of advocacy and training. So we need people to support us beyond the community, because we do receive flack from in and out of the community. So this is a personal thank you to Debbie that doesn't like public announcements.
Yes, but good to hear from you too, and not that as the Burmese perspective, right? Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, I agree with Sorten, because I don't know what the future looks like for Rohingya community, but the things what's going on right now, and one thing for sure is the root cause of all the problem is the Burmese military junta, and we need to stop their atrocity so Rohingya people inside the country feel safe and they can be like back to their home, and then like restore their community and everything's there. So that's the one thing that we need to be like not just helping people who are suffering, we also have to address the root cause of all the problem.
Yes, I think exactly, like, I mean, for Rohingya communities, that's the big thing, but I think we need to make sure that everyone in Myanmar is safe, like regardless of what nationalities you are. But of course, in terms of the Rohingyas, and that the grave serious thing. And I also, like Aziza, when you talk about alternative ASEANs, I think that really agree that we should be appreciate their initiative, because I also learned that not every non-governmental organization that even they work on Myanmar issue that they support the Rohingya. This is the big thing, that also because within the community themselves or within the society themselves, there's also debate, right, on in terms of like the Rohingya and other things, the discriminations taking place. So I feel like this is a great step. I think, and I would like to open the floor in term, so that like for, if in case any of you want to share, or if you have questions that you want to ask the like producers and everyone here. At this stage, I want to hear any of you want to share or want to raise a question. Oh, food review is fine also. Yeah. It should be like encouraging. Okay, good. I see thumbs up. Yeah, is there any questions or anything that you want to share? In terms of the securities, no, I mean, we won't show your face if you don't want to be in the photos, in the camera, but there's to be your voice. If you feel unsafe, you can write down on the paper if you have questions, and I can read the questions for you. Then if you don't have questions, okay, yeah. But if you are free to identify, but we need your voice into the live streaming also.
I have a very specific question about the mass grave that you encountered. What was the cause of their death? Like, was it an atrocity or natural causes? So what's the scoop?
Yeah, okay. I mean, I can share too, but Jasmine, you go first. You want me to go? Okay. Because Jasmine and I, we know each other, because at that time, 2015, is involved with Thailand and Thai and here. So there's the big movement of the Rohingya trafficking. Almost every day there's several hundreds of Rohingyas coming from Bangladesh, from Cox's Bazar, Rakhine, and those areas. It's because of the big trafficking syndicate and the cooperation between Thailand and Malaysia. In Thailand, there's also like involved with the very high-ranking officers, militaries, administrative officer, police, and that long story we can share with you. Like you can look back at what had happened, but at that time, because of the ransom, the tortures and trafficking, that they put the people, put them into, even they call the cage. They call the Rohingya the black chicken, and they have like the owner of the cage, and they have the way to identify who's your cage belong to by using the color rubber. That if you are red, you belong to this owner. If you have the green color, you belong to another owner. Those kinds, and they sell in order to move into Malaysia, where they can resemble to their family members. They get hostage in the Thailand and Malaysia side, and then they have to pay. Like at that time, it's about 60,000 Thai baht. I cannot remember. I mean that the standard rate. It could be higher than that. If you're not able to pay, that means the relative either in Myanmar or in Malaysia have to pay. If you have no money, you have to stay in those cages for long. Then it's cost of the days, of the starvations. And when the suppression taking place, there's in Thailand about more than 30 people dead, and on the graveyards found the grave, and about thousands of Rohingya, and also some of them are Bangladesh, have been rescued. And in Malaysia side, it's another that the graveyard that they found they found in the movie. Some of them were not able to walk. They got the disease called beriberi. That means that they are lacking of vitamin B for so long. So they really weak, and I mean really big thing in Thailand at that time is brought to one of the biggest trafficking case in Thailand, and that make the TIA report down to 3, and that's a lot of change in policies and the justice system in order to provide justice for the Rohingya people. So that this is a snapshot, but Jasmine, can you come here? Yeah.
I don't want to take too long, but I think the main importance of why we were there at the gravesite was because, first of all, as you know, the gravesite don't have names of the people who were actually buried there. These were remains of people who were put into mass graves after they were tortured and, raped, and various other brutalization took place in that sort of like mountainous area where they're kept in cages. We all have had our families somewhat engaged or there. Some family members were kept there. I think I have a couple of cousins who were kept, at that site, but they made it out because somehow we muster up like 2,000 USD to pay, and that's just, it becomes so natural, and it shouldn't be, but that's the reality of Rohingya lives. Wherever you are, you still have connection to someone who's being tortured or someone who's struggling in some ways, in ways that is so helpless. On top of that, what we have gathered as an organization, but prior to this work as well, was that a lot of the women who are actually also, victims of trafficking, either they would be raped and sexually assaulted on board the boat, they would also be raped and sexually assaulted. Sexual and gender-based violence was rampant in those sites. And what happened was that the grave site was actually not the original grave site. It was the original one is actually super inaccessible, and it's patrolled by the border guards and police and whatnot. The remains were taken. They were exhumed and taken to this other, more accessible and closer to the Rohingya community sort of area in Sungai Patani, and that's where people are now kept. About 120 people are buried there, but there's no name. So far, what I know is that Malaysia has already tested DNA of these people, but the caveat is this: the community doesn't know anything about where these information is being stored, or whether these information are being exposed, risked in some ways, because DNA, information is pretty sensitive. On top of that, not only, we don't know where or how to access this, but the reporters or the research that was coming out about this said that, if the community members wants to test and find their community out, find their members of the family or find these people, they can. But again, there's no education, information, or accessibility in any of this. So as Noor and Aziza has said, it's heartbreaking to actually see numbers instead of names, but also the fact that these people never get to return home. And I think that stamp very, very deep in our hearts that we have not been able to go back home either, but we're still alive. These people will never be able to return to their families and hug them and say goodbye. And that's I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. It's just, it makes us, it becomes a question for us of how can we do better to ensure that this doesn't happen again. The one thing that I want to leave you with last, because I don't want to take away from the panel, is that to date, most of the people end up in Indonesia, not because the route has changed. The trafficking ring is still benefiting from victimizing and brutalizing Rohingya. A lot of the people who couldn't pay ransom also end up in fishing boats and fishing ships as slaves. They're not given any food or water, or at least not the amount that people need, and they're forced to work almost 24 hours a day. And there's so many reports that are out about it. Some of the women who could not pay ransom also are forced into sexual slavery. This still happens to this day in Malaysia and Indonesia. The thing is, all three countries, and including Burma and many other actors in this region, are involved. And so when people in this region say Rohingya are useless and Rohingya shouldn't ask for more, well, why are you benefiting from our victimization? And that's, I think, what I'm going to leave you with. Thank you so much.
I mean, in terms of the traffickings, I think we can have, it's big issues, and in my understanding, and I think in our understanding, it's still going on, but it's probably for now, it may not be like the huge portions as at that time, because at that time there was big involvement of the senior authorities, but until now, every day, I would say every day are still people coming out because of the situation inside by many means, by all means, let's see, like by land, by plane, by sea, or whatever, and all dangerous means, as you know. Any other questions from the audience? So, okay.
So it's a follow-up question on that statement. It actually touched my heart, talking about the graves of unmarked people, which are actually, it's a kind of historic, back in the Japanese days, so lots of Tamils were abducted. I'm actually a Tamil from Myanmar. So lots of Tamils were abducted and forced to walk in this Dead Valley Railroad, so which were thousands upon thousands of unmarked people just dying, and we don't even have proper commemoration, memorial things for that thing. So I'm still documenting those things and just trying to. So my question is since this incident seems to have more contemporary, in 2015. I was a bit young back then, so my first interaction or my first understanding about the Rohingya genocide issue, which starts around 2017. So which was 18 or something back then. So given that thing in the consideration, 2015 seems to be the so-called quasi-civilian government was actually imposed, right? People are actually believing and healing, the so-called pro-democracy changes in Myanmar. So given these outlooks in 2015, which doesn't seem to be deteriorating until 17. So what was the response from the authority as in the case of the Burma in those times? Like, were they actually these questions were being raised against them, or was there any whitewashing going on, like, as far as 2015? So that's my question.
I'm not sure if you have any questions because you're already on the move during that time, right? You're not in Myanmar, but I don't know. And you here? Can you recall? You recall? Do you recall?
I don't.
So your question is, how did Burma respond to the human trafficking?
Yeah. Releasing political prisoner and stuff. So it's such that, bro, like, having this thing going unreported and noticed is quite outrageous, and it doesn't seem to be quite natural, like, whatever the they trying to do, like, hiding the whitewashing since the time of 2015. I think the case of it is their first time taking power and stuff. So, like, I just want to understand, like, whether there's been any response from them in a humanitarian manner, like, doesn't actually have to get some protection, but they never do that.
Look, I'm looking at Yasmin, and she's looking at me as well. And to be honest with you, in terms of Burma, I would say zero. I went to Guatemala recently for our work, and in Guatemala, I was working with the Forensic Academy, with a couple of forensics looking at the Guatemalan genocide and the unmarked graves. I got to visit and take back the learning to the Rohingya case. What we've seen is cases in Indonesia. We've seen disappearance from Bangladesh to Indonesia. We've seen mass graves from 2017 in Burma. And right now, what we are working towards is giving the families some answers. And we're doing this through social cohesion projects in Indonesia. Right now, we actually have an art competition in Indonesia where our Chinese community and Rohingya community can submit an artwork, and the theme is on disappearances and missing persons. So that's a little bit of the work that we are doing. I don't know if Yasmin wants to add anything on. She's saying no to me. I hope that sort of answers your question.
So I just wanted to know, like, what was the response, because it's quite interesting, like, how things were developing back in Myanmar, and a community has been, forgotten for long enough, like, so to be really honest, like, Al Jazeera is the only channel which was showing about these things back in the day. So, like, that's how I get to know about stuff. So, I couldn't actually come to terms with this reality that, a people can be this much heartless, as in the case of the dominant people, to actually ignore the strives of a people, like literally getting murdered in day and night and just trafficking in, like, in cages, which is outrageous, right? So, yeah, so, like, I just wanted to know what was their response back in the days, like, if you remember any, yeah.
I think I was a fetus, but maybe Yasmin.
I think the only thing that I remember would be, in at least the people that were willing to listen to us, in the civil society of Burma. A lot of times when we bring up other issues beyond, like, okay, let's end impunity, let's make sure that the junta no longer holds power. A lot of the times things are brushed off, and this was before the coup, and said, later, we'll fix the problem later. But the thing that you also might want to know is that the junta is also involved in trafficking Rohingya. A lot of times, people think that Rohingya actually get on the boat voluntarily. Some of the kids were actually forced into the boats. They were separated from their parents. This is a tactic of a genocide, and I don't think that we can look at human trafficking separate from the genocidal process.
Like I shared that, this is probably from my work experience at that time, 2015 is, I understand that the government of Aung San Suu Kyi, and at that time she didn't admit that there's the Rohingya issues in the countries at that time. So it's a little bit unfortunate. I'm sorry about that. In terms of, like, what Jasmine's talking about, like the way the people get into the boat, because there's many people in Thailand at that time, we were able to to interview those survivors. And they share that they heard that the boat will be really comfortable. Like it's a volunteer, you don't need to pay, and you'll be free, you will get into the country and everything's smooth. That's what they understand, and you have to understand that they are from communities, like very remote community where there's not a lot of like good information provided. So then they completely believe, and because some of their relatives are already in Malaysia, so then you get the like really comfortable travel, no problem at all. That's why they agree to take the journey, and that's why it's come to the tragedies. Okay, I think for the Rohingya trafficking, we can have another like one, yeah. But I think it's still valid because, like I said, like people are still moving out of the countries by all means, and they face these kinds of threats and dangerous risks. But let's get back into the movie a little bit. So, what is your next step? Will you have the third episode, or yeah, how many episodes that you plan for? The next one in Thailand, right?
We'll have another documentary based on hate against Rohingya people. That we did a lot of interview with the different community members, different CSO, even political, government peoples, all that stuff. So it will come out hopefully start of next year, and I think that will probably the next step we're taking for now, and then we'll have another trip here in Thailand, where Rohingya women will meet their community here and see how we can help them, and hopefully make another video out of it, and hopefully we can raise more awareness to the refugees people and how they live in here. So, thank you.
So both of you be in the movie also, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, so what's next is Thailand for now. And we have a lot of work to do. Again, we have had to respond to the recent violence that has occurred in Arakan by providing humanitarian aid to our people. So a lot of things do come by surprise where we have to shift our thinking and shift where to next. So keep in touch. You can follow us on Instagram, Rohingya Women Collaborative, yeah.
Okay. So this, but Thailand, you don't have further idea. Maybe in diaspora, in the resettled countries, maybe the struggles in the resettled country.
The flights are so expensive.
Oh.
I mean, I would love to create more content for Rohingya people out there, because there's really in terms of content on social media or multimedia content, there's really low amount of Rohingya related things in the internet or whatever. So as a part of I feel like I'm the part of the community right now. I don't know how to. Sure, thank you. So as a part of the community, I would love to make more I can do for them. So at least we can have something that we can look back on, and maybe after in the next future, we will see how things were been and how we have changed them, and then we can be proud of it.
Good job. Okay, I think that. Oh, okay, yes.
We're friends, Nian. You can ask me personally. I have you on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp.
So I think it's very clear to everyone in this room that the pro-democracy movement has benefited greatly from the international community's support of the Rohingya people. And I don't think any of the advances that the resistance movement, the pro-democracy movement, the NUG would be anywhere where they are without you, without the support that has been that you have gained through from your end, really, without very much support from the rest of the movement. My question then is, there is a fear, at least on my end, that once everything is said and done in Burma, things are going to go back to the status quo, that the Rohingya are going to be forgotten. What would you like to say to the pro-democracy movement to ensure that you're not forgotten and that you are included and centered in a future in Burma, Myanmar?
So we need meaningful democratization of Burma, Myanmar. We've seen democracy in Burma fail Rohingya consistently over and over again. Citizenship stripped away in 1982, just in 2 seconds. So when Rohingya going back to home, when we go back to Arakan, citizenship is just not going to be enough. We need a truth commission, reconciliation processes to say Rohingya are actually indigenous of our land. We've been there since the 1600s. We were our own kingdom. We had a king, we had a princess, and we have our own set of history. We were a very educated people. We went to the best universities in Asia, to the most persecuted people in the world. So to answer your question, we need more than just citizenship being given to us. We need more. We need reconciliation process. We need truth to be told that we belong in Arakan, Rakhine State.
Whatever she says, right?
Something, say something.
You're just gonna plagiarize me? So for me, I mean, yeah, not just citizenship, going like, of course I want to go back to a country where my parents was born. I never saw how, Burma looked like. So someday I do want to go back there, not just to have a citizenship there, but also have the, basically every right that every country gives to anyone who's from there. For example, if you're Malaysian, you have everything that you can say, oh, he's Malaysian, they have ID card, they have access to everything. So I would rather say, going back there, I should, even though if I was not born there, I should get citizenship there. I should get all access to as being Rohingya, and yeah. And people cannot call us like, oh, you guys not from here. So, yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, like Yasmin said before, like how many Rohingya were living in peace right now? How many percentage? It's like only 1%. Sorry, it was Aziza. Yeah. So seeing that, like my Rohingya sister, they're doing out there, like what they can bring to their community, and how much they're working hard to make all their sufferings and then disappear. I see with my own eyes, and it's really inspiring, and it was really a wholesome feeling that you feel, because you see how much they can do for their community when they're given the chance, given the opportunity, and it was really like empowering, especially like there are women out there, like not just like Burmese community there. It's like they usually have kind of like different perspective when it's come to women, but when we see the like women out there doing a lot of amazing work, like doing really good things for their community, it's really like it is a different perspective for me as well. So I'm really proud of everyone here, and I think they will totally bring like better future for their community, and hopefully they will.
I think this is great, and all of you, and particularly you, and not because I learned from last time you spoke less than this. You are a little bit less shy than this time, and I'm so glad to hear from you as the different perspective also. I think before I come to the end, I want to see any of people who are here have any questions or reflections, feedback, and would you like to share anything? Okay. If not, oh yeah, of course. Any like final word from you guys, or you have any ultimate dream, which hope that, I mean, for all over of this, like the Rohingya, Myanmar, world, or yeah, whatever, like the last final, yeah.
I guess my dream is for us to go back home. And home isn't the Harbour Bridge in Australia. Home isn't the London Bridge where Christian's from. Home is Arakan in Burma, Myanmar. We feel very connected to our ancestral homeland, and we hope to rebuild our country one by one.
Well, my dream, like, of course, go back home one day. And most importantly, like I said, when I was working as a volunteer, I was working with kids. So they're all aware of it. They're always, whenever they see me, like, go for it, like Rohingya, you know, like, because I remember when I started teaching them, like, when they were like 11, 10, when I asked them, where are you guys from? They would say Malaysia. And I was like, no, you're not Malaysian, we are Rohingyans. So since then, every day they say, yeah, I'm Rohingyans. And now it's kind of like not just my family supporting, but like I have 80, 90 kids supporting me, and I need to at least show them that I can make a change in the future and they can follow that lead. So it's just not my dream, it's like all 80 kids that believe in me, and I have to prove myself too.
Am I supposed to talk about my dreams or my dream for the Rohingya people? Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I basically fled from my country after the coup, so I guess we're in the same boat right now. So everyone's want to go back to their country, like rebuild their home. And like I mentioned before, is that we have to address the root cause, which is the Burmese military. And as long as they are still in power, like we cannot do, like our dreams cannot be true. So we have to actually like work harder to build our home, and then especially like. For now, the future doesn't seem like really good, because the things that's going on right now in Myanmar is really like hard for people to digest. And we're the lucky people who were like outside of the country, but the people there inside the country are still suffering all the mass atrocity the military is committing every day. So. I hope one day we will be back together in our country, live peacefully together, and work together, like work more harder to make our country better, and like happily ever after.
I just want to add something to that. So like. I see my friends and all my from different country, they always like going back home. It feels different. So I never been back home. So I want to have that feelings. I still like it's every day. It's like going back in Malaysia. Yeah, I was born there. I was there. I know the struggles, but it's a different feelings going back home. So like I do see people posting on social media, what is home, like going your country back, living there. So I actually want to experience that before I even get old.
Wow. So strong. It's so strong. Thank you so much. My dream, I have a dream too. My dreams in the future is 100% of Rohingya living with dignities, with like full human being as everyone in the world, and peace, democracy in Myanmar. That's my home. Thank you so much. It's so my honor, honor to be here together with like very strong, give us me strong spirit, and I think not only me, everyone here, and everyone who listen online also. So thank you all. Thank you RMCA for your initiative to produce this great documentary, and also ASEAN Burma for your big heart to support initiative of the Rohingya communities and Rohingya activists. Okay, we finish here, and please enjoy the food and please enjoy the talk after this formal event. Okay, have a great day. Thank you so much. Goodbye.